All right, everybody, welcome back in. We're doing our tour of the semifinals coaches all across the state of Alabama. Today, we are here at B.B. Comer with head football coach Adam Fosset, who is preparing to take on Reeltown in what seems to be the matchup of the state. I think everybody across the state is going to have one eye on their game, one eye on your game, because it's the closest matchup as far as point spreads and all that in the state. But kind of a collision course it looked like you guys have been on all season, and it's finally going to be here Friday. But before we get into that, Coach, let's rewind the clock. Take us back, last year when we were at the Super 7 together down in Auburn, and you knew you had a lot of good talent coming back and a lot of guys who's bought in and had the potential to have a really good team this year, but potential don't always work. But your guys have worked and earned this position back. Just take us back to the off season to hear and what we've seen from your guys.
Yeah, I think off season wise, we put in a lot of work, and I was really on our guys during the off season because I felt like we were still living off of last year's identity, and I really don't feel like we got our own identity until the Dadeville game of this year in week 0, and developed our own identity and kind of moved on from that group last year. So we've got 12 seniors. A lot of those seniors have been with me for the 4 years, some 5 years, and they understand the process. They understand how the program functions and runs, and they're hungry to continue to be successful, and that's shown throughout the season. So and the more that with them being in the program for so long, we're able to do so much more. So, and that's just part of building a program too. So, I feel like they've done a really good job of accepting new challenges, especially week to week, and making changes that we want to make on both sides of the ball, and adapting to those changes.
Now, you guys knew coming into this season, you already had what you said last year, which was experience. But then with experience and the achievements you got last year, the expectations come in. So you've had to battle that somewhat this season, obviously, and you just mentioned that. How hard has that been, battling those expectations?
I'll tell you, I don't think it hasn't been very hard. And one thing that this team has done really, really well is, but they've been extremely selfless, and they've done things selflessly the whole season. It hasn't been about Kamor getting all the stats, or Devin getting all the stats, or whatever the case may be. So we've been able to utilize all the guys that we have, and utilize the athletes that we have. So it makes it a lot easier for us to do that, because it's not, we're not individually stat hungry, and that's what, that's a true sign of a team when you have
That's right.
A bunch of athletes like we have, because it could very well be, hey, like a Devin at quarterback. There's times where he's handed the ball off, and Kamor's gotten a ton of yards, and he could have just as easily kept it and gotten a ton of yards as well. So, it's worked together really, really well. And we even, at some points later in the season, we even lined Kamor up at quarterback some, and he had a chance to call his own number, and he didn't do that. He'd hand it off, or he even threw for a touchdown. So. Those guys are just they're having fun playing football, and it makes it a lot easier when they're having fun like that.
Selfless football, and a lot of that's earned right here in this weight room we're sitting in right now. I know a lot of coaches say this, and Matt Johnson said this earlier today about Reeltown. That about everything they have is built around this weight room. But you can get some attitude adjustments, you can get some team unity. Talk about the weight room here at B.B. Comer and how special it is.
Yeah, the weight room's important. Those guys, they bought into it, and they do everything that we ask them, and you get to the point where we are right now because of this room, and it's not you go to some weight rooms and it's real pretty and clean and stuff like that. That's not really my working environment. So I like the fact that some of the paint's chipped.
That's right.
Some of the benches are worn, and some of our bars are old, but our guys are able to put a lot of weight on the bars and move that weight, and that's key. And when we come in here, it's a work session for these guys, and they know it. And our young guys, the big key is our young guys and our old guys are in here at the same time. and our young guys see our old guys moving a lot of weight, and they're like, hey, I want to be like that. So
That's right.
So they're striving to to do those same things, and our old guys do a good job of helping our young guys out too. You know, if they see them doing something wrong or you know, lifting the wrong way or whatever else, they'll stop and go over there and be like, hey man, you're gonna get hurt. You know, don't do that. So so they help them out a ton, and but if you're not in the weight room, you're not going to be successful, and that's, you know, that's with any program or any athletics. And since I came when I got here 6 years ago, I told them, I said, we've got to get in the weight room. We got to stay in the weight room, and we did. It built and built and built, and we've been able to establish a great weight program. And one thing with weights is, and lifting weights, is there's constant change in
right.
in what's good and what, you know, what's best for athletes. Is it pounds? Is it reps? Is it the speed that you can do, or the force? Or so with me being, you know, as you age, you know, I'm a little bit older. I've got some young coaches on staff that bring stuff to me, and we research it and say, hey, you know, this would be good for our program, or maybe this, you know, let's not do this for our program. So it's also kind of an open thing where my coaches they communicate with me and they say, hey, I think this would work, and this would be something that we could change, or this is a lift we could incorporate that would help us out with our auxiliary lifts, or something like that. So at the end of the day, you're talking about moving weight and doing it in a really good form, and using proper form to move that weight, and it pays off on the football field.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You have some of the best looking athletes in the state of Alabama, 1 through 7A, and we've seen them all the way, you know, from Thompson down to 1A teams that we visit. And some of your guys will go toe to toe for anybody, and that's testament to what you guys do here. And you said something right there that I want to touch on as well. You do a great job from what I've seen. I'm not in your huddle each week, but you let your coaches coach. And I've seen your coaches, and they coach their tail off. Talk about this staff and how important they are.
Yeah, my staff, they do a great job of coaching, and I give them the reins. You know, everything goes through my ears on Friday, and if I don't like it, I'll you know, change it or whatever I need to do. But they do a really good job of getting things together, game planning, getting the guys on the same page, and making sure that the game plan is played through. And Coach Pike is my offense coordinator. He's been here for 4 years, and every year for the past 4 years, we've broken our own scoring record.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we did that last week. We broke last year's scoring record with our win at Clark County. So
that's awesome.
Coach Hale is running our defense this year, and he's passionate about it. He's also an alumni here, and he's, you know, he'll tell the guys real quick, man, we were never this good. So, you know, soak it up and
pride
and enjoy it. Yeah, take pride in it, and you know, he'll tell them, man, I'm jealous because I didn't get these opportunities when I played here.
That's awesome.
So, and it's special when you have those coaches, especially like Coach Hale, who's from here, Coach Pike. It's a unique situation for him because he's the offensive coordinator, but he's also the elementary counselor. So he's with the elementary kids all day, and he's done a good job. He gets a lot of our guys go down during the day and hang out with those elementary kids. They'll go and read to them, and they'll just go visit with them, you know. And there's a picture somewhere of my quarterback going down the slide on the playground over there with some of the kids.
That's
you know?
awesome.
And I think he's having more fun than the kids are. So,
ain't no doubt.
But it's great for that, like that building thing. And you know, we are, as a staff, we've talked about a lot lately. We are extremely tough on our guys. We are hard on our guys. But our guys know after practice they can come in and they can get a water, they can get an orange juice, they can come in and shut the door and talk to us about whatever they need.
That's awesome.
So we have a really good bond with our guys, and they know at 3:15 we're going to put the bond on hold real quick, because for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, we're going to get after it. We're going to get on you. We're going to be tough on you. And when practice is over, man, we'll put our arm around you and talk about whatever we need to talk about. But we're a tough love group.
That's
and
good.
It's funny because there's, you know, in a lot of situations there's good cop, bad cop, and some of our older guys are like, man, all of y'all are bad cop today. So they, you know, they'll get on to us about that a little bit. But we have a great bond with these kids, and a good understanding of the expectations, and And that, again, all that, I've always said, and I'll always say that the team's not going to care how much you know until they know how much you care. And
it makes a lot of sense.
You know, that's kind of a cliche thing, but it's the truth, man. We could know a ton of football, but if we don't know, you know, hey, you know, Jimmy's got this going on, or you know, David's got this going on, or whoever, you know, what's going on in their lives and what happens, and you would be amazed what happens between 8 a.m. and 3 a.m. in a teenager's life every day. So it's important that we understand that and know those guys, and you know, we ask them to push through some things and work through some things, and they do that for us. And on Friday nights, man, they give us everything they got.
That's the beautiful part about it, because in life they're going to have to do those same things,
Exactly.
or they're going to be unemployed, and then they're going to be really in trouble because the kid's starving, the wife's starving, and they're losing their house. So that's good to learn that now. Just a few more questions, Coach, and I know you got other things you got to get to, but in these playoffs, you know, you guys have looked pretty dominant. You've done on paper what's supposed to be done, but we don't play on paper, you know. So heading into this matchup here with Reeltown, I know you've seen film on them. What has jumped off on film about them that you've seen?
The main thing is how well coached they are. Coach Johnson does a great job down there with those guys. They're very well coached. They're very disciplined. They've got some great team speed. They get after it up front on both sides of the ball. They've got a couple big guys that'll lay some blocks, and they got some big guys that'll make some tackles. So they do a really good job of just game planning and being prepared. And I have no doubt that they will be prepared on Friday as well. So you know, it's going to be, like you said earlier, it's going to be a big time game. And there's going to be a lot of.
It's the state's game of the week.
Yeah, it is.
Caleb's calling that one as well.
Right, yeah, it's the state game of the week, and you know, you do all the, like I showed up Saturday at the playoff meeting, and they're like, hey, y'all, it's state game of the week, I need you to do an interview. I was like, all right, you know, so I go and do an interview, and I'm on 3 hours sleep. We got back from Clark County really late, got up really early, and headed down there, but you know, I enjoy that trip, even though I was tired. It's a good trip to have to make.
Ain't no doubt.
But yeah, it'll be a big game. It'll be a big crowd. The atmosphere will be amazing, and that's what, you know, ultimately high school football. This will be an epic high school football game and atmosphere.
It's a beautiful thing that they recognize this as the big game that it is, and they could go anywhere, but they choose to come here. And you know, fortunately, we had that earlier this year when they came here and watched you guys play, and Caleb called that game as well. Shifting gears, let's turn the focus inward here at Comer. What do you got to get out of your guys to be successful on Friday?
I think the big thing for us is just to lock in and know that we are in for a battle, and knowing it's going to be a 4-quarter battle. You know, I worry.
One of those Apollo versus Rocky.
Right, and I you know, 2 weeks ago in the second round, I was concerned about focus because we had Highland Home. We beat Highland Home last year, and you never want them to think, oh, you know, we beat them last year. We can beat them this year. So so we're gonna have to be locked in. We're gonna have to be prepared, and we're gonna have to have a big game from our guys up front on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be the team that makes the least amount of mistakes. It's gonna be the team that can eliminate big plays, and the team that can make a big play. So. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be down to the wire, and it's one of those games where you're going to have to teach and preach that adversity is going to happen, and you just don't know what's gonna. You don't know what the reaction's going to be. You know, adversity is something you can never like coach it. You can't at practice. You can't say, all right, hey, we're down 7. There's 2 minutes to go, and those guys in their mind be like, well, crap, we're down 7. You know, so. It's just not something that you can kind of prepare for. So from the mental aspect of things, you've got to kind of talk to your guys and have them focused on that. But our seniors have been really, really locked in over the past couple weeks, and they understand, you know, and no matter what the result of this game is, this will be the last time they play at Legion Stadium, and that's important. You know, that's important to them because you look at their body of work over the last 4 years, and they've accomplished a lot of things.
You get that right,
and they've done a lot of amazing things, and you know, you want them to enjoy that part of it, but you also want to be locked in and ready to go, and hopefully be able to move on to the next round.
That's it. Well, Coach, I'm not going to keep you. I know you got a busy day here. You got practice and other things going on. So it's always good to see you, Coach.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Coach Fosset, BB Comer here, and he is the ASHAA's Game of the Week, and they will be hosting Reeltown here in the semis with a shot to head to Bryant Denny Stadium and play for a blue map. Coach, good luck to you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.